Good morning. I just woke up and we have a game update today. Pet insurance has been reworked in OSRS. In case you're confused and thought this was RuneScape 3 or WoW. If you're new here, this is part of my game update series where not every week, but a lot of weeks, I go over the game updates, and I'll have the playlist for this series linked in the description. With that said, let's jump in. Today's update is called Pet Insurance Rework and More. This week's update brings some long-awaited adjustments from Pull 85. So this is about Pull 85 changes, although I'd say the pet insurance rework is really the highlight of this news post, and that is what they're starting off with. I want to give some history on pets and pet insurance and how that's worked in the past and tie that into the update from today. So we're on the pet page on the wiki. The wiki has the pets listed into 3 separate categories. There's boss pets, there's skilling pets, and then there's the other pets. I wish it was all one list because I want to order them all by release date, but the skilling pets came out in 2015 at the earliest. The other pets, the earliest one was Penance Queen in August of 2014. And then if we sort this list by release date for the boss pets, I've been playing OSRS since release, but I forgot about this. The pet Chaos Elemental was the first pet, and it was the only pet, I'm pretty sure, in the game at the time, April 3rd, 2014. It wasn't until a few months later in July of 2014 that all these other boss pets came out. And here's the news post from April 3rd, 2014 when they added the Chaos Elite pet. Because it was the first pet in the game, they had to explain how pets work. You could only have one Chaos Elemental pet at a time. They cannot be traded between players. When you get this pet as a drop, it'll automatically try to appear as your follower. If you already have a follower, such as a cat, it will try to go into your inventory. If there wasn't space in your inventory, you will simply not receive the pet at all. On death, if you lose your Chaos Elemental pet, whether it's a follower or in your inventory, it will vanish and you cannot reclaim it. So that was April 3rd, 2014. And then 3.5 months later, July 17th, 2014, we got all these other pets. And then 1 month after that, August 21st, 2014, we got Pro Beta. When they added Pro Beta into the game, they didn't even say the cost in the news post, but it was 500k to insure a pet. And then if you lost your pet, to reclaim it, you would then have to pay 1 million more GP on top of that. You only had to pay that original 500k insurance fee once, and then the pet was insured forever. But each time you lost the pet, you'd have to pay 1 million GP. And this is the news post when they released Pro Beta. And also we're pulling the artisan skill, by the way. And that's how pets worked up until June 22nd, 2022. They changed it. If we go to this update post. After this update, pets are now automatically insured, which means you no longer have to pay that initial 500k fee when you get a pet. As soon as you get it, it will automatically be safe. And even if you were to get like in the wildy, then you get PK'd, it's still fine. You will still be able to reclaim it for that 1 million GP fee. Now, if you did pay 500k GP to insure any prior pets that you had gotten before this update, those would be added to Pro Beta's reclaim fee coffer. So you were not refunded the GP. You could just use that GP to claim pets going forward for the 1 mil GP that still cost to reclaim them. This also meant that people who previously had lost their pets without insuring them, as long as they had gotten the pet after the collection log came out, which was December 6th, 2018, anyone that got the pet after this date lost it without insuring it, you would then be able to reclaim it. However, if you had gotten a pet and then lost it without insuring it before the collection log came out, then you're out of luck. And this June 2022 update would not have brought the pet back for you in that case. But for a lot of people, it brought back their long-lost pets that they thought they would never get back. Effectively, this update was a collection log check. As long as you have the pet in your collection log, then you'll always be able to reclaim it for 1 mil GP. And I want to say that update was also when they initially introduced the idea of reclaim tokens in the game, where you could purchase the reclaim tokens to be able to reclaim pets. And if you were to get a dupe pet, you get a reclaim token as a consolation prize for accidentally getting another pet. And that brings us to today's update, September 10th, 2025. Pet reclaims are now free, which means you no longer have to spend the 1 mil GP every time you lose a pet to get it back. You can bring your pet to TOB or Slayer or in the wildy or any potential dangerous situations and not stress about losing them. They mention a few caveats, which is cats are not included. You cannot reclaim a cat for free from here. And then any reclaim tokens that you bought with your GP before, that will be refunded, but it's a manual process which may take a few days. And then any free tokens that you got from getting dupe pets, those will not be reimbursed in any way. And if we take a look at the pet insurance with Pro Beta, you can see this is what the menu looks like now. And it looks like I did spend 500k before or I think it's 500k to manually insure a pet before the automatic pet insurance was a thing. I think that's where that comes from. I'm looking at my main account as well. My main account also has a 0.5 reclaim token. Is that what that's coming from? Wait, what's the... Did I only insure one of these pets on here? Well, anyways, if we come back here to the Chaos Elemental post, the original pet, the OG pet, it said here in the news post, if you lose your Chaos LA pet, if you die with it, it wanders around aimlessly for a while before vanishing. And I'm pretty sure that's just how pets worked going forward from there. If you were to die... I got the wrong strange device. If you were to die with your pets, all your pets would wander around and be funny to do with the GE, or where there's a bunch of players and they'd see all your pets wandering around for a few seconds. And I'm going to do that right now because I have 25 pets here. It will no longer cost me 25 mil. Theoretically, hopefully. I trust Jagex that what they said in the news post is true, so let's attack a paladin and we'll watch me die. And hopefully see a bunch of pets appear, and hopefully I don't have to pay 25 mil to reclaim them. Oh! Be free, my pets, be free, wander around the city. They're all going off on their separate ways to... Where are they all going? They're all heading off to go on some adventures. How long do they... They're still there. How long are they there for? That's longer than I thought. I've never actually done this before because obviously didn't want... Okay, there they go. Because obviously I never want to like have to pay 1 mil GP per pet, but anyone could just do that for free now. Hopefully, let's test out on here and make sure I can... I probably should have tested that with just one pet first to make sure I'm not gonna have to pay GP, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine, right? Oh yeah, I have the max keep on me. I just checked my clip and it was 30 seconds that all the pets were wandering around for. It was exactly 30 seconds before they disappeared. Now for the moment of truth. Check. Reclaimable. Yes. Okay. Awesome. So I guess the only annoying part of doing that is you have to claim each one back. You can't just claim all back, you have to do them one at a time, it looks like. Reclaim all option for pets when Jagex. I'm pretty sure this means that reclaim tokens are no longer a thing in the game, and because of that, this is kind of like a, I don't know, some type of historical, unattainable option for an account to have. So because of that, I'm not going to refund my reclaim tokens to have that little bit of history on my account. I feel like with this update, with the free pet reclaims, I feel like there's a lot of potential for maybe like trolling with pets, or every time you do your hard clues, when you get a wildy step, maybe you could bring all your pets with you, and if you get PK'd, you could surprise the PKer. Or maybe it's someone's max party, you could have 10 people die at once and have like 100 pets wandering around. I guess everyone in the game is going to have this reclaim tokens none option. Like imagine 10 years from now, people will be like, why do we have this here? What does reclaim tokens mean? I wonder if in a few years they would maybe remove this from the interface if you don't have any reclaim tokens to refund, or maybe they'll just force everyone to take the GP in their banks or something. But yeah, that's all for pet insurance. Moving on, we have sheep herder improvements. They have improved the pathing for sheep so that they hopefully shouldn't get stuck against the wall anymore. You can prod them onto an open tile now. This is a very low level quest that you can do on day 1 of your account, and a lot of people do, and it can be very frustrating getting the sheeps to path in the right direction, and I think it's a needed quality of life change for, especially with all the new players coming into the game recently. The less frustrations like this, the better. Next is charter ship numbering. Charter ships are now numbered, so you can just click a hotkey to travel to any of these destinations. Let's take a look. Charter a ship. Yep. That's numbered all right. Numbered and lettered and hotkeyed up. Can I shift right click? No, I can't set a different hotkey, but I could imagine in the future, probably the near future, there might be like a, you could like shift right click to set whatever hotkey you want. Tithe farm point cap. The point cap at Tithe has been raised from 1,000 to 16,000. It means you could spend way longer. You could spend a very, very, very long time at Tithe Farm before you'd be forced to spend your points. And we have some updates for clans. It's mostly notification stuff. Automatic notifications for events that will be starting soon, which may be useful for the official in-game bingo thing, which we'll talk about after we go through this news post. Clan owners can now set intervals for collection log notifications, so it doesn't have to be when someone gets every single collection log. Could be for every 10, 25, or 50. And clans now display the icon for the sender's game mode if you're playing in the main game, Deadman mode, or a temporary game mode like Leagues. And clans now have the option to only receive broadcasts from the main game worlds, so you don't get spammed with a bunch of Leagues notifications. I did not make a game update video last week because it was the Doom combat achievements and there wasn't much to talk about, but they're addressing some feedback that they got on them. Apparently there's been debate on whether these combat achievements are fair or if they're a bit too difficult. And they're saying that they want to give it some time to settle in and people will figure out new methods over time. And if they make it easier now, they can't go back and make it more difficult later on. So they're just going to wait for a little bit, gather some more feedback, see if people come up with new methods and decide if they're going to change them from there. But for now, they are going to leave them. Audio improvements. I showed this, I think, a few months ago, quite a few game update videos ago. This has finally come into the game where all the sound effects have been upgraded from 8-bit to 16-bit as part of their audio updates. It links us to this news post, which then links us to another news post. Here's the one. Yeah, this is the one they showed a few months ago. So just to give you an example, let's listen to the crickets. So they have the before and after of the 8-bit versus 16-bit. There's a lot less background noise now, I think is the main takeaway that I got from this. And they're all pretty much the same thing. It's like less background noise now. It sounds a lot more crisp. So yeah, we now officially have 16-bit audio in the game. Next, they're talking about an idea they have for a future update where you can set a little icon next to your name if you're on mobile to show other players that you're on mobile, and you'll be able to toggle that on, and it'll only show, of course, when you're on mobile, not on PC. And that could be nice to show other players that you're not going to be able to respond immediately, or you might miss their message, or there's some people that play on mobile only locked accounts, and maybe it'd be cool if you're doing TOB with someone on mobile. It's like, wow, you're such an experienced player. Also, you're on mobile, so I don't want to raid with you. Talking about TOB, that just reminded me, going back to the pet reclaim thing, that people would purposely bring pets into TOB as like an incentive to not wipe. And it was kind of fun, like everyone bring their pets in, and now that incentive is not a thing that you can do anymore. Maybe the only downside I could think of the pets being free to reclaim now. Going down, we have a Discord community event. Join us for a Chambers Mass community event in the official OSRS Discord. That is probably my least favorite thing to do in the game, is Chambers Masses, but I hope any of you that go to it have fun and have a good time and enjoy it. Next we have, or they have some merch stuff they're promoting on here. Other changes. They changed a couple of drop rates for the moon key pieces, but otherwise, yeah, nothing really too important or special here. That's it for this week's game update, but it's been 2 weeks since I made one of these videos, and over the last 2 weeks, there were a couple, I already said there were the Doom combat achievements from last week, but there was another thing. They're not having a league this year, but instead they're having this Gridmaster, or this is the Gridmaster announcement, which will be happening on October 15th. This will be their first community event. These special limited time experiences will allow us to safely explore new ideas while giving you an enjoyable and unique experience. They do acknowledge that leagues are a core part of OSRS and are not going anywhere, and they're even already in pre-production for the next one. But it says there is inspiration from leagues, but this is going to be more of a bingo format. You know, each league kind of has their shtick. The shtick of this one is going to be bingo related. This will run for 4 weeks compared to leagues, which are usually 8 weeks. It will be hosted on exclusive worlds outside the main game, just like how leagues are. Each player will start from a fresh save. I assume it's probably going to be Iron Man style, just like leagues, and there will be a multiplier for XP rates. And it says there's even going to be an option for free-to-play players to be able to participate and do a handful of the tile challenges on separate worlds and experience some of the rewards. Here's what this progression board looks like for Gridmaster. It says all your challenges will be presented on a brand new in-game interface for you to interact with across your journey, 7x7 grid, and it's down to you to pick what order you take on these challenges and to plan your preferred routes. When you complete a task, it'll reward you with a boost to your gameplay, which could be in the form of previous relics from other leagues, auto-completion of whole quest lines, or maybe you could even grow the bush that spawned T-bows. Whoa, spoilers. And since it's a bingo event, naturally when you complete a line, either horizontal or vertical, you'll unlock even more things. There will be cosmetic rewards you can buy in the main game, because in Gridmaster, for each task you complete, you'll be rewarded grid points. And then you could use the points to buy things in the main game. There's 3 cosmetic rewards they're proposing. There's the Grid Tabard, there's the Grid Swords and Emblem, and then there's the login screen chapel cosmetics that you'd be able to put into your POH. The poll is currently active, so you can go ahead and vote now on what you want to see or don't want to see in the game for these. And all 3 of these they are proposing them as being tradable. Although, of course, if you're any kind of Iron Man account, you will have to play in the Gridmaster event to be able to earn these yourself. And assuming this goes well and they do future community events, the shop would work similar to leagues, how from future community events, you'd be able to earn points from those and then buy the rewards from previous events if you're not able to play in this one or you don't want to play in this one. There's a bunch of FAQ stuff down here as well. I'm not going to go over every single thing, but like usual with these game update videos, I will have the game update from today and I'll have this news post as well linked in the description. And then beyond Gridmaster, from the Game Jam 5, which was April/May of 2024, they put out the foundation for having in-game bingo events, official in-game bingos, because usually people would have to run them via Discord and Temple OSRS, but they want to add this into the game as an official feature. They've been spending a lot of time and put a lot of work into this bingo system, and that wasn't just for Gridmaster. In fact, it kind of, to me, seems like Gridmaster is a way to test out what they've been working on before they implement it into the game for real. And having this kind of community event that's sort of like a league seems like the best way to have thousands and thousands of people test this out and submit their feedback and submit bug reports. And they say here that once the event is over, they'll be looking to implement the system into the main game. Not with all the accelerants, of course, but just the idea of having bingos in-game. And this is so important in my opinion, because the community, having a community, a sense of community, having friends in-game is the most important thing that has held this game together from the very beginning and continues to do so to this day. It may not seem that important or like it's a big deal, like, oh, it's just another option that clans can do, but I do truly believe that this is having the bingo in-game like this. I think this is going to be a very important updates. I do really believe that this in-game bingo option, I'm not talking about Gridmaster, but like the ability for clans to run their own bingo events in-game, I do think it's a really good update for the longevity of OSRS. But yeah, let me know what you think about these game updates, and I'm curious if you have any other fun ways to troll by dying with your pets in your inventory. If you're new or returning to OSRS after a break, again, I will have my game updates playlist in the video description, and you could use that to catch up on what you missed while you're away from the game, while you're now grinding away, making some gains. But with that said, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.